It looked like an ordinary holiday photo of Ruby during a boat trip. Ruby was allowed to take over the steering motor, capturing the perfect moment for a memorable picture. Her proud parents posted the photo on social media, and within just one day, it garnered over 10,000 likes from around the globe. Confused by the comments beneath the picture, they took a second look and quickly realized why their daughter had gone viral. It was summer when Natalie and Mike visited the coast of France with their daughter Rudy. The weather was scorching, and since they were near the coast, they rented a boat to go sailing. Ruby loved these boat trips, especially when they sped through the water. Natalie and Mike also relished their time on the boat, reminiscing about their younger sailing days. However, none of them anticipated that this boat trip would turn out to be so special. Natalie and Mike met at a high school sailing camp, bonding over their shared passion for sailing. They aimed to vacation by the coast in a different country each year. However, since Ruby's birth, their sailing adventures had diminished as caring for Ruby required more attention than most children. Natalie's pregnancy had started smoothly, but at 32 weeks, she suddenly experienced severe stomach cramps. Alarmed, she scheduled an appointment with her doctor, and what they learned was almost unbelievable. After tests at the doctor's office, it became clear Natalie was in labor and needed to get to the hospital immediately. When they arrived at the hospital, she was already 6 centimeters dilated. Within 10 minutes, she had reached the required 10 centimeters to start pushing. However, the doctors were worried about the baby's heartbeat, and because the baby was in a breech position, it was decided that they would perform an emergency C-section. Before she knew it, Natalie was in surgery. I had no idea what was happening. I had to hear from my husband that our daughter was in an incubator. That was very intense. Of course, I wanted to see her right away. I could hardly believe she was real. I found it very difficult not being able to hold her. I felt I missed out on some bonding. In a way, Ruby had to stay in the hospital for 6 weeks. She had some difficulty breathing, and some organs weren't fully developed yet. Fortunately, Ruby was healthy. But because of her early birth, she needed extra attention. Later, it turned out that not everything was going well. Ruby's development wasn't like that of most other children. It took her longer to learn to speak and to start walking. Although Natalie and Mike really loved taking care of Ruby, it exhausted them, and their relationship suffered too. There was even a moment when they discussed taking a break from their relationship, but together they were strong enough to overcome the struggles. Their shared love for their daughter Ruby helped them through. They even decided to start traveling and sailing again. At the time, they didn't realize their daughter would soon go viral. 3 years after Ruby was born, she was completely healthy and could do everything her peers could do. So when they were on holiday, Natalie and Mike were happy to let Ruby sail the boat for a short time. Here's a grammatically corrected version of the script. Once on the boat, Ruby wanted to hold the steering motor. Her mother placed her next to the motor and thought it was the perfect time to take a picture, proud of her strong daughter. Natalie posted the photo on Facebook. What she never expected was that within one day, the picture would be shared over 10,000 times. When she read the comments, it turned out that there was something very special to see in the background. When Natalie woke up and looked at the notifications on her cell phone, she was shocked. I thought something had happened because I was getting so many messages. When she read the messages, it became clear that there was something in the background, and not just anything. Natalie quickly grabbed her cell phone to look at all the photos they'd taken. She could zoom in on the background, and it was true. In the background, she saw a shadow. She didn't know exactly what she was looking at and decided to read the comments again. As she read the comments, she realized that this strange shadow in the background of the photo was a very rare sight, a whale near the French coast. When Natalie took a closer look, she indeed saw the tail of a whale. Natalie thought it was strange that a whale's tail could go so viral, but then she noticed a comment from someone who was a biologist. Finding a whale at this location is not normal. There may well be something wrong with it. Then she read something that broke her heart. If a whale swims so close to the shore, it means it's lost. Whales normally swim deep at sea, certainly not in the French region. Whales are shy animals and won't get close to sailing or swimming tours, so there had to be a reason why this whale was so close to the boat. Natalie told her husband Mike what she had just read, and he immediately called the Coast Guard of the French town. They were very surprised by the news Mike shared and immediately took action. It was a matter of life and death. The Coast Guard called the police, and together they took action immediately. Everyone on the water and in the sea was summoned to return to the beach. When everyone got out of the water, the Coast Guard quickly sailed to the whale's location and tried to lure the mammal to the open sea. However, the whale just stayed where it was. Hours passed, but it still didn't move. At this point, it was decided that the Navy would be called. They could dive to see what was wrong and why the whale was staying in one place. When the Navy arrived and entered the water, they were met with a shocking sight. Underneath the surface, the Navy Marines discovered an extensive layer of plastic waste. So much that a large whale was ensnared in a massive plastic object, trapped like a fish in a net. Despite its immense strength, the whale was powerless to escape the tangled mess that held it captive. Without a moment's hesitation, the Marines swam toward the debris, determined to free the whale. As they approached, they expected the whale to thrash about in panic, but to their surprise, it remained perfectly still, as if it sensed their intention to help. The whale allowed the Marines to work without resistance. It took over an hour for the team to successfully free the whale, which then swam back toward the open sea. With a final wave of its enormous tail, the whale disappeared beneath the waves. The entire coastal town was aware of what had transpired that day and felt compelled to contribute in some way. The residents of the town recognized their role in the whale's entanglement, understanding that their pollution was harming the ocean. They organized a massive cleanup effort, mobilizing the entire village to clean both the beach and the waters. United in their responsibility to preserve a waste-free environment, they worked diligently and swiftly to restore the beach. Their hope was that this would prevent future incidents of marine creatures becoming trapped. Ruby and her parents felt a deep sense of fulfillment knowing they had played a part in freeing the whale.